5, 4, 3.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm giving you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. Check it out, though. I do apologize. You're hearing my voice right now. I'm trying my best not to cough, and I'm gonna probably end up pausing it, and just like that. Didn't even hear that edit, did you? I gotta do that a few times because I'm sick as a dog right now. But I gotta talk about this because it's big news. Link is down in the description box below. Malakai Black, Miro, Ricky Starks have officially parted ways with All Elite Wrestling, as confirmed with their removal from the AEW roster page. Fightful Select is reporting that none of the three talents are bound by a non-compete clause, making them free agents and eligible to sign with other promotions starting today. Malakai Black's departure had been anticipated since December, as he had been absent from AEW programming for an extended period of time. Tony Khan had previously mentioned his expectation to keep Black under contract through at least 2027, but the absence of recent activity has led many to believe his exit was imminent. Miro's departure is also notable. After last competing in December of 2023 at AEW's World's End pay-per-view, where he defeated Andrade El Idolo, Miro had been cleared to return to action but requested his release back in September. Sources say the situation had remained quiet for months before Miro was finally granted his release. With creative plans for him no longer being discussed, his previous contract extension, signed in early 2022, was set to keep him with AEW until early 2026, though it seems the company and Miro ultimately reached an amicable conclusion. Ricky Starks, who had asked to be let go in late 2023, similarly found himself in a complicated position when AEW exercised its option to extend his contract. However, despite his extension, Starks was not prominently featured on AEW television, leading to his eventual release. His contract was slated to conclude in a matter of months, and sources close to the situation believe the decision to part ways was mutually agreed upon. As you'd expect, speculation is already swirling regarding where they may end up next, with no restrictions in place to prevent them from appearing elsewhere. Josh Barnett took to Twitter on Monday to express interest in seeing Miro in Bloodsport, and you can see a tweet right here with him telling him to reach out if he's game, that is. We're always looking for new blood. Obviously, he's talking about Miro wrestling for his company, which would be pretty cool. I mean, I'm not sure if Miro legitimately can go as far as a fighter is considered, but I wouldn't be surprised. The dude is fucking Bulgarian. It's like Biden's in their damn blood, so it'd be really, really unique to say the least. But that's the end of the entire article right there. Personally, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I don't know. Like, there's, on one hand, I want to say that good. You released the talent that didn't want to be there. But at the same time, though, most of these talents, they've been wanting to leave for months now. One may even say for a couple of years. And the fact that it took all of this in order to get them released, I mean, you knew you had no plans for them to begin with. Miro, Ricky, and Alistair, you had no plans for them, so you should have released them around that time frame if you knew you couldn't come up with anything for them. It's like you strictly did it just to keep them away from the competition. My thing is, why even have to do this? Because apparently, as noted in this article, they have they're no compete. Did they say they're not eligible for a no compete clause? Right? They just automatically get to wrestle whenever they want. Yeah, three talents. Let me see that none of the three talents are bound by a no compete clause. Yeah, so they're free agents right now. If they wanted to, hypothetically speaking, Alistair could show up on Raw and SmackDown tomorrow, you know, or next week or whatever. And Miro, if he wanted to, he could do the same thing. And if Ricky Starks wanted to show up in NXT, he could. He could tomorrow night. If he really wanted to show up, he could. Which is good on them. You know, good on Tony for not giving them a non-compete. But my thing is, why even, you know, like, here's my thing. And again, I'm happy that the talent got the release. I just don't understand the thought process behind, you know, having your foot dug so deep in the ground for as long as Tony Khan has for these talents, knowing that he had no creative for them whatsoever, and then you just randomly release them right next to WrestleMania. Now, it's not to say these guys are going to be game changers, But as far as getting people more enthusiastic for the product, if for nothing else, those 2 or 3 weeks that they're going to be on whatever brand, do you really want to give that initial push to WWE while they're getting ready to go into WrestleMania? I mean, if you were going to do this, then you might as well just wait till after WrestleMania. At the very least, you're going to get fucked up regardless because it's WrestleMania. But just why give them that added boost? Why do that? And like I said, the entire time, I think it's more so just a power trip on the part of Tony Khan. Like, he just wants to be in charge. And maybe something happened where when it came to the fact that he no longer could be in charge of the situation, or he recognized that the ROI on whatever product that he's trying to sell to the masses, to the consumer base of the AEW audience, was probably a negative effect on him. Because obviously, it's not as if you haven't seen... I covered the Miro story back in like August or September when he said he wanted his initial release. Malakai Black, he's been talking about wanting to leave the company for like 3 years now, it feels like. Ricky Starks, the entire 2024 was dedicated to his arc of leaving the company. Why all of a sudden now? Again, it's more of a power trip. I think it's an ego trip. One of those things where it's like Tony's like, okay, I'll let you go when I want to let you go. Not you guys stirring up trouble and then forcing my hand to release you. Which, to be fair, these guys signed a contract. Once you sign the contract, you put yourself into that position where Tony Khan could make those kind of decisions. But my thing is, if for nothing else, why not job them out? Why not use them credibly to put over talent in a fun, unique way? Instead, you just have them sitting there gathering dust. It was spite. It was all spite. He didn't like the fact that 3 guys that he took a chance on, Miro and Malakai, were floundering in WWE around 2020, around the COVID period. He took a chance on them. Ricky Starks, I think he was in NWA at the time. He took a chance on him. And maybe there's a part of him that feels like he's been backstabbed watching these 3 guys act the way that they act. But like I said, same thing about Triple H when it comes to his booking. When you have no creative for talent, you can't just expect them to sit there and be okay with the bullshit that you're feeding them. That's just the way that it is. Like, I guarantee you, Malakai, Miro, Ricky, even if it was just jobbing, if you gave them something to sink their teeth into, this wouldn't have been a situation. You gave them the creative, right? You gave them the TV time, or lack of TV time, I guess, in this case, and lack of creative, to be honest with you. So whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? If those same criticisms can be levied against Triple H in regards to the recently released talent, as far as he could have done something with them, what's the point of having all these mid-card women not doing anything, but at the same time you create an Intercontinental and a United States Championship for the women, and then you just release 2 potential names who could have, done something in that division? I don't understand how I can sit here and levy those criticisms against Triple H and not say the same thing about Malakai Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks. What did Malakai Black do in the company? Really, he did stuff with Cody Rhodes, which, by the way, I find fucking insane that he did all that stuff with Cody and nothing to show for it. That could have been something. You have Malakai Black, the guy who beat the now biggest star in wrestling, arguably. Could have been a feather in his cap if you would have played your cards right, but instead, you decided to put him in a 6-man tag group with a woman and have him job out on Collision on a consistent basis. Miro, he just suffers from the same stuff that Wardlow and Will Hobbs are suffering from. No concept of how to book a big man. And yeah, you can argue Miro isn't necessarily big in stature. He fits more of that Taz complex, if anything, or that Taz build. You can argue that, but he's bigger than most of the AEW talent from a mass standpoint. And he's charismatic as all hell. Did nothing with that. Ricky Starks, I may have a problem with his size, but charisma up the ass. Man, it's not as if no one in your company isn't the same size as Ricky and you do nothing with him. You do nothing with that? Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? You can't sit here blaming anybody else but yourself for your talent wanting to not have anything to do with your company. If you wanted them as bad as you made it out to seem when you were kind of holding them hostage and not letting them go, then you would have reciprocated that notion by honestly giving them something to work with, and you didn't do that. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? It's Tony's fault. But I'm happy that all three talents got what they wished. You know, I'm not sure if Tony got what he wished. I'm not sure about that, but the three talents obviously did. Let's see what moves they're gonna make going forward. Is Malakai gonna return to WWE as Alistair? Is Miro gonna come back as Rusev? Is Ricky Starks most likely gonna debut in NXT? Sky's the limit, knowing that these guys are not bound by a no compete clause. Fuck that, I'm not editing that out. Yeah, I'm in. As a matter of fact, let me get. Oh man, my head's killing me right now. Let me get the fuck up out of here. Let me know your thoughts. Excuse me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to how you felt about the video. Oh my god, do you feel that Tony Khan was in the right with what he did? Do you feel like he waited way too long and it really was a power trip? Do you feel that Malakai, Miro, and Ricky had no business bitching and moaning, knowing that they signed a contract that put them in this position where Tony can make these decisions? I'm gonna let you guys talk about it amongst each other in the comment section. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. A deuces and a P. Nice.
Hit that gong. Gun,